Hi, I'm Ingo from Roast Rebels, and today we have a look at the maintenance of the Hottop roaster. As you know, when roasting there is smoke, there are chaffs, these chaffs that are going off of the beans, small portions of chaffs that can be stuck somewhere in the machine. And to keep your machine safe and perfectly working, you need to do some maintenance steps which are not too difficult, and I'm going through the steps that you need to do with the Hottop machine now. All you need for maintenance of the roaster you probably already have at home. So your best friend will be a conventional vacuum. Then some coffee machine cleaner like Pulley Chaff or Cafisa. There are different brands. You probably have them at home from your espresso machine. You need some screwdrivers, some Phillips heads, and then also some one flat small screwdriver. And beside of that, maybe a towel. What's really good to have is something like a kitchen glove or a heat-resistant glove like this one. And that's actually all you need. So what you have to do after each roast is take out the chaffs of this roast. The chaffs are being collected in this little tray. So now it's empty, but after a roast you have probably realized there are quite some chaffs in it. In naturals there is more chaff than washed, but in any case you have some chaffs, and then just empty those into a bucket or something. This tray you can either empty it when the machine is cooled down, or if you're emptying it between the roast, then be careful. It's of metal here, so that's going to be very hot. The plastic handle is not too hot, so you could either hold it on the plastic handle, but what I recommend you if you're emptying this chaff tray between roast is to take either a kitchen glove or a towel, or as I said, you could take this such a heat-resistant glove, and like that you're not getting burned when handling the machine between roasts. One thing that you have to do after each roasting session, so when the machine is cooled down after you did some roasts, but if you're doing more roasts during a roasting session or during a day, then I recommend you to do this, let's say after 2 or 3 roasts, is emptying the chaffs that are being stuck in your roasting chamber. And that for you're taking away the cooling tray, which by the way, the cooling tray, and also below the cooling tray you will have some chaffs. It's also something that you can easily vacuum after each roast to have it clean here. But what you do when releasing the chaffs out of your roasting chamber is taking away the cooling bin, taking away the chaff tray, taking away the top cover, and also those 2 rails here. They can easily be removed when you're pulling them diagonally. So then you can take them out here on the plastic side, and after that on the metal side. So take away those grits. Then you empty the front on this golden knob here. If you're between roasts, then be very careful. That's going to be very hot. Otherwise, when the machine is cooled, then you can just open it here, take away. You will then see after a roast, now this has been cleaned between the roasts, so there are not many chaffs here, but you will see there are some chaffs being stuck here that you can shake out. And then you will take the machine and shake those chaffs out of the roasting chamber. This is something you do after, let's say 2 or 3 roasts. Depends a bit on if you're roasting naturals or washed coffee, but you will see there are some chaffs stuck here. Then when you're putting this front back again, be careful. You have to turn the knob here, the golden knob. If you're pulling these too tight, then you will realize that the drum is scratching on the front. You will hear that sound, and then you just release the button a little bit. It still has to be tight enough so that the front is closed, but not too tight, because then the drum will scratch and you will immediately hear it, this sound. What I recommend you is to regularly clean the machine also on the outside. Here I would take a dry towel, or it can be really like a little bit damp, but there shouldn't be any water, because water can of course then destroy the electric parts of your machine. So it can be a little bit damp, or it can be dry. Then you're just cleaning the machine from the outside. Also be careful that you're not scratching anything, so don't take anything abrasive, so that you're not scratching the chrome here. And yeah, just clean it a little bit. That's nothing too critical, just that you have a nice and clean machine. What I like to do regularly is cleaning this glass here on the front. And you can either take the blade here and then leave the glass on and just clean it with some soap. You can either take just a liquid dishwasher, or you can take the whole part, maybe together with this top cover, and also then take this tray. Then I make a bath with coffee machine cleaner, where I put some coffee machine cleaner into warm water, and then I put all these parts in it so that the oils are getting released, and then they're perfectly clean again. What I personally like to do is taking off those screws, so that I can then also shake these chaffs that are being built up here, and clean the glass really nicely, assemble it again, and then you have a perfect machine again. You have two filters that are reducing the smoke in your machine. You have one at the back, and this one has to be changed every 30 to 40 roasts. What I often do is then between clean it just with a vacuum. So yeah, let them just vacuum it here and take away the buildup that is being built up here after a couple of roasts. And then, yeah, let's say after 30 or 40 roasts, depending on the condition of your filter, you're changing this one. You can get them with us, for example, or with the place where you have bought your machine, if you haven't bought it from us. There is another filter here on top. This really doesn't have to be changed too often. I mean, you can maybe change it after about 100 roasts. There is also a video in our channel where you see how this is being changed. It's really simple. It's just two screws that you are taking out, putting the other filter back again, and then that's all done. After about 10 roasts, you're taking off the drum, taking it out, cleaning the inside of the machine. It's not too difficult, takes maybe about 5 minutes, but I'm going to show you now how this is being done. To remove the drum, you first take out this tray, you take away those grids. It's just a bit easier to work if they're away. What you're doing now is opening the front by turning this golden knob, take away the front, and then you see you have here the blade with 4 screws. Just open those 4 big screws here. Now you take off this plate. If you want, you can also put this into coffee machine cleaner to get it clean, but it doesn't really matter too much. Now you see here the drum, and the drum can just be easily teared out of the machine. And the drum could also be put into a liquid of coffee machine cleaner to get rid of the oils. What you in particular have to look at is there might be some coffee beans like here that are being stuck here between those parts. There are a lot of little metal parts, and some bean can be stuck here. So take them off. We can also put the drum into your dishwasher. Actually, it's dishwasher safe. But what I would recommend you is to also put it in this liquid of coffee machine cleaner. But what's mostly important is to clean the drum here inside. It's mainly about taking off all those little chaffs that are hanging here, and therefore you take your best friend, the vacuum cleaner. What you can do now is take a towel. I would recommend to take a dry towel. It can also be a little bit damp, so have a little bit of water on it, but it must not be wet so that no water is dropping here in the machine. But yeah, you can also take a dry towel. What you have to take care when reaching inside of the hot top is it has a lot of sharp metals, sharp edges. So be careful when reaching in the machine. It's not too much to do, it's just mainly about removing all those parts that are hanging in the machine so that there is no build-up here. There might be some coffee oils, which is just common in a machine, but all the build-up of parts, something you want to get rid of. Shake everything out or vacuum the machine again. And that's it. When putting in the drum again, you will see there is a hole here. There's the axis also where the motor is mounted. And you can see here on the drum that there is a little pin in it. And this pin has to be in a particular way in this axis of the motor so that the axis can hold it. It has a little cut in it so that this pin is in this cut so that the axis can hold the drum and turn the drum. So what you're going to do with the drum is you take it with this part where the pin is on the back of the machine. So you put it in, you find the hole, and then when you found the hole, you turn it so long until you can realize that these pins are now in these cuts. And the drum is below the line of the front here, so it's a bit deeper. You also realize when you're softly, gently are moving the drum that it's being connected to the motor. Next thing is you're taking this front plate again, and what you will see here, there are two pins again. There are two holes, and so these pins have to be going through these holes, and then the plate is mounted correctly. You will see also here that there is a deepening in the metal, and that's the place where the drum, the axis of the drum is being put into this front plate. You will see there is a hole. The hole is on the top because that's where you are going to put the golden knob. So you put this in front. You look that those pins are being placed correctly, and then you have actually the plate in the right place. You will realize that it has some tensions. So what I recommend you now is take those screws and just putting them in a little bit. And now you're checking the placement of this plate. If this is perfectly in the pin, you're going to check if the axis is perfectly here in this deepening of the metal. I don't know how this is called in English, probably a crate or whatever, but I hope you understand what I'm talking about. Now, tighten those screws. Check if the axis is placed correctly. It's turning nicely, and that's it. Now you can close the front. And as I said, take care when turning this golden knob. It must be holding the front, but it must not be too tight, because if it's too tight, then you are blocking the drum and you will realize the drum is scratching. Put the cooling tray. and that's it. And then after 3 months, so about 4 times a year, you are cleaning the machine here on the back. The whole air is flowing through the back of the roast and then being released by the roaster. Here in the back where the air is flowing through, there is also the mechanic of the machine. So the motors are here, a lot of mechanical parts, some electrical parts. So there might be some build-up of chaffs there, and you just want to regularly take this out so that the machine is clean here and you get rid of all the little chaffs that are hanging in this part of the machine. And now I'm going to show you how this is being done. First thing you have to do here at the back of the machine is take a flat screwdriver, reach into this safety knob and take this one away from your machine. You can take the tray here and put all the screws in the tray so that you're not going to lose them. Second thing is you can take off the filter. Then you're taking off the fan here. It has 4 screws, one here, one here, one here, one here. You take a smaller screwdriver and then you can take off these screws here. Now you can take off the vent here. What you will see is that it's connected to the machine with this little connector. So you're taking off the connector carefully. And you see I'm regularly cleaning the machine here. If you haven't, you will probably see that there is a lot of little chaffs that are being stuck and that are being sticky here. So this one I really recommend you to clean regularly. So what you see here, there are 4 screws. You can take off those 4 screws here. Then you can take out this fan, and then you can clean the inside. So you can take this cover and also the fan carefully with a towel that is maybe a little bit wet, but also be careful. It has electrical parts, so it must not be really wet. They must not get wet, so it can be just a little bit damp so that you can clean the whole fan here when it's taken out. When you're putting it, assemble it back again, you will see that on the other side of the fan there is a printed label. So this printed label has to look outside of the machine, that when you reassemble the fan, you don't see the printed label here. And the other thing is, you see here there is an opening where the cable of the fan has to be let through. So you're placing the vent in this cover that way that the cable of the fan is easily being put here into this little opening. Next thing is you will see probably in your machine that there are a lot of chaffs here hanging at the back of the machine. You can then also directly take the vacuum and clean it here. And what you will have to do then is taking off this whole back part of the roaster. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. So you take off these screws that you can release this cover. So you take off the back, and what you have to be careful, you see this cable for the fan. Carefully take it out of this cover. You will see the cover has a little square here where the connector can be let through. And now here you see the back of the roaster, you see the motor, you see some mechanical parts. You can see here the electric compounds of your machine. What you can do now, what I recommend you, is take a vacuum and clean it here. You could also, if you have canned pressured air, so there are, for example, in the car shop, in the do-it-yourself shop, in the car department, you find some canned air where you can then easily clean your roaster here. Just be careful not to damage anything. Be very careful when cleaning it with canned air. Otherwise, you can shake out some parts. and then take your vacuum and clean the back of your roaster. After that, I would take a dry towel. I wouldn't take a wet one. And here you have to be extra careful because there are some really sharp parts here where you can easily cut yourself. So be very careful when doing this and just clean off all those build-ups that you will find here. Don't be crazy about it. There are some coffee oils, which is not too much of a problem, but where all those chaffs are being built up, that you want to release out of your roasting machine. After that, you're also going to clean this part here. It's pretty dirty. You can clean this with soap water because there is no electric components here, so you can really nicely clean it with your dishwasher liquid. And then when reassembling this one, you will take this little cable, put it through the hole here. Now you're putting back all those screws that you've taken out before. What you're going to love is to have a magnetic screwdriver when working with this machine. Then you're mounting the fan again, and as I said, be careful to place the cable in this part where you see it's perfectly fitted in. Connect the roaster and the fan, and then carefully reassemble this little cable so that it's not being scratched by the fan in any way. And last but not least, put back the safety knob. Do a functioning test. If this is nicely in, put back the filter. And now you've done your 3 months maintenance procedure for the Hottop. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you want to know more about the Hottop roaster, then have a look at the other videos in our channel as well. We have quite some videos about the Hottop roaster, also about the other roasters. If you're interested in roasting in general, then also have a look at all the videos we did. For example, interviews with roasting experts, or videos where we go into different topics like green coffee or then roasting techniques. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel not to miss any video, because we will release a lot of videos in the near future as well. And if you have any questions, then always come back to me. I look forward to hearing from you. You find my contact on roastravels.com.